Alright, in this video I'm just going to be going through the new strategy that I'm going to be using, and some of the top players are also using this exact strategy that I'm about to talk about, and it is involving heat level. So before we get into that, we first need to determine what is heat. Essentially, heat does two purposes, which is to give you more points as you win, and then the other one is heat level matches you with teams that are also similar to your heat level. In other words, heat level equals to matchmaking. Okay, so now that's out of the way. In my previous knockout video, which was entailing the best strategies of knockout, someone commented that the non-meta teams will have lower heat level, which means they will also be paired up with easier teams, right? Which is exactly true. So that got me thinking, what if I deliberately try to lower my heat level just to get an easier matchup so that I can keep a longer win streak? And that is exactly what happened. But it doesn't mean that lower heat level is better, gives you more points. It is better in some situation, which I'll mention in the video later on. This is my previous dispatch team. As you can see, the points are pretty good. I'm getting 16,000 with the Wuyu comp, and I'm getting 18,200 with the Ggez comp. Let's just count the win rate for each of the teams real quick. So the Wuyu comp has 15 losses, which means it won 35 out of 50, while the Ggez team has 11 losses, putting it at 39 out of 50 wins. The heat level is also pretty high, 370,000 with the Wuyu comp and 337,000 with the Ggez comp. And for today, I've tried a different lineup, which is just to deliberately lower my heat level, and boom. Look at the points on the Wuyu comp. I went from 16,000 to 20,000 with a significantly lower heat level. So let's go over the Wuyu comp real quick. With lower heat level, I'm getting better matchups. So the previous Wuyu comp, I think I got like 15 losses. Let's count the losses for the Wuyu comp for today with lower heat level. So look at that. Look at all of this win streak. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's pretty bad luck. 5, 6. We got 6 losses from 15 just because I lowered the heat level. Now let's take a look at the Ggez team. It went down in terms of points. Now let's count the losses real quick. The previous Ggez team, I got 11 losses. This team, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Also, only 6 losses. 11 losses down to 6 losses, but my points decrease because I'm lowering the heat level too much. So if you take a look at the points right now, I'm only getting 418 points, even at 5 win streak. If you pull out the calculator, 418 times, let's say I won all 50 of my matches, right? 50 matches, I'm only gonna get a maximum of 20,900. So too low of a heat level is also not good for you. You want to balance it out between the heat level and also how viable your main carry is, which I'm going to talk about right now. So what is main carry? For example, right, the Wuyu team, the main carry is going to be Wuyu, and that's about it. The rest of the team, you can slap on any defender espers and you should do roughly just fine. The second team is going to be your main DPS, which in my case is going to be Ggez plus Chuyao. Ggez alone cannot carry because she gets critted on way too many times and she will just die very quickly. But if you put it in Chuyao, Ggez can become a really solid carry. So that's what a main carry is going to be. For this team, it's going to be Wuyu. For your team 2, it's going to be your Chuyao plus your DPS. It can be Ginny, it can be Ana, but the best right now is going to be R6 Ggez because she does she's just like the best bruiser if you pair her up with Chuyao. So with this team, we can see from the results that adding in Ankit is not good enough because he's lowering my heat too much. So even with 44 out of 50 wins, I'm getting only 70,000, which is worse than my old team, right? My old team running JJ, because JJ doesn't seem like he's doing much for this team, but his stuns are sometimes very useful for Wuyu comps, and his stuns are also sometimes very useful against a cleave team. And the shared damage that he has from his passive is also very clutch sometimes. But he's mainly here to add the heat level while also being able to back it up. If you, for example, right, if you add someone like Everett in this team, your heat level goes up by too much because he's R6, and if you have his Divinate, then it's going to be even higher. You'll be better up against R6 whales, like full R6 whale team. Everett alone increases the heat level by too much, but he doesn't provide anything pretty much to the team, right? So with this team, I'm just going to go back to my Jiangjulie because it's working pretty well, gaining me 18,000 points. And then with this team, I'm actually going to change some of the lineup as well. So yeah, let's take a look at the leaderboard real quick. Some of the top players are also using this strategy, but I think they're still trying out some teams because, so if you take a look at this team, right, we got the Fake Tolan, Emma, Jinchu, R6 Jinchu, Emma, and also Mavis. If you try to find it in the team rank, it doesn't appear because it gets less than 15,000 points. And I think I know the main reason to that is because, let me just do this real quick. So he got like the Fake Tolan, he got R6 Jinchu, he got a Mavis, and let's just find that one. See, you don't see that team anywhere because it gets less than 15,000 points. I don't know the exact number, but if you get like, I think below 15,000 or 16,000 points, it will not appear in the team rank. Even yesterday it doesn't appear. So it gets less than 15,000 points because the main reason to that team is that it has a very strong solo carry, being R6 Jinchu. He's pretty much unkillable, but the main issue with that team is that the heat level is way too low. Let me just replicate the team real quick because I'm also a whale. So I got all this whale R6 D6 espers with max skill up as well. Max skill up and also max divinate level as well. Everything's maxed out with the Donar and also Lucas. And then he also got Emma and Heng Yue. There we go, Emma, Heng Yue. And the last one is going to be a rare esper. Mai Liao is unfortunately not maxed out yet. He's only like level 12 rival runes. That's just like 3 levels, so at best it's going to add like maybe 5 to 10k of my heat level, which means that his maximum amount of heat level will be at somewhere around the range of 270,000, which is almost as low as my Daji team. And we did the calculation just now. Even with 50 out of 50 wins, I'm only going to get 2,900 points at maximum. With the R6 Jinchu comp, I think he's still losing against some of the buff block team, being Wu Yu comps, and also Daji comp can also screw him up. So what I think is happening with this team is that I have no doubt that it's getting at least like 70 to 90% win rate, even 100% win rate, but the problem with this team is that it's too low of a heat level that even with all of those wins, he is not benefiting much from it. He at most is getting 400 points after 5 win streak, which is pretty low. And that's the reason why it doesn't appear in this team rank right here. Now, to further show proof that lower heat level can give you more points, again, not entirely, it does depend on some of the teams and it does depend on what the espers that you use. If you look at the top 10 of the previous day of highest ranking team for this patch, you will see that from rank 1 to rank 7, if I'm not mistaken, yep, rank 1 to rank 7 are all very high resonance team, but it's a Wu Yu comp, right? It's a Wu Yu comp with an R6 Sakura, but if you go to rank 8 is where it starts to get a little sus. So rank 8, he has an epic esper in the team with an R1 Liam with an R2 Sakura. This team is getting the rank 8 of the most points. Now if you want to see even crazier, there's a team that is full of R0. I think I saw it with like Ana, Iki, Tolan. This is the exact team I'm talking about. Look at this team, R0, 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 R0. No way in hell this team reaches 350,000. Core of the team is going to be Chu Yao and also Iki. Those two are going to be the main carry of the team. The rest of the team gives you a lot of points, but they also carry their own weight, right? And if you take a look at the other teams as well, they have a very low resonance, which means low heat as well, but they have very good point acquisition. I think there's another team with like a Wu Yu without an R6 Lian, and you'll see how much points it gets. There it is. That's a Wu Yu team without an R6 Lian and it gains 21,000 points. 21,000 points. That's another team with a non-R6 Lian, 21,000 points again. Another 21,000 points. Another 21,000 points. Because again, R6 Lian does add a lot of heat level, which means you're going to be paired up against higher heat level teams as well. So what is the best strategy for this patch right now? For a Wu Yu comp, if you don't have an R6 Sakura, it is best to try to lower your heat level, like running your R0 defender espers just to get into an easier bracket to maintain that win streak. I went from 369,000 heat level to 317,000, but my point went up by 4,000, from 16,000 to 20,000. And then for your second team, depending on how good your main carry is, you can put a unit to increase the heat level. That also does something, but if your unit cannot carry too much with the increase of your heat level, then it might be good to put in someone that will just lower your heat level but it doesn't provide much to the team, right? Because your main carry cannot carry too much, you put in someone with lower hit levels to get you into a better matchmaking. But since my R6 Daji can carry pretty well, I'm gonna add in my JJ back because he does pull his own weight. He's increasing the hit level, giving me worse matchups, but he does add some to the team that is enough to give me more points. So yeah, that's about it. You can click off the video already, but this next part is just going to be me shit-talking a bunch of people. Well, not really shit-talking, but I'm just trying to bring some light to some situation. So with the new changes to Knockout, some people like it, some people don't. And the Discord is kind of like a shit show right now. Some people are suggesting it's the worst game mode, and some people are suggesting that the old one is better than the new one. Now I would like to address some of the hatred towards the new Knockout. The first group of people that hate the new Knockout is because their argument is that they take too much attention, right? In this argument, I can agree with you. This new Knockout does require you more attention than the old one, whereas the old one, you just set your teams and then you can be away from the game for 3 weeks. Like, you don't really need to do anything, right? This one, you have to log in every day, use your 15 tickets in order to compete. Okay, fine. It does take a lot of attention, but I would just like to remind you that majority of the... You know what? I don't even need to remind you. Let's just go through it one by one. So we go to Trials, Sonic Rift, Sonic Miracle, Ritual, Falsetto, Desolate Lands. All of this content are either auto farming, you overnight farm it, or you blitz it. There's no gameplay going on here. You don't watch your fight. You just auto it or you blitz it. Now let's go over to the next tab. Adventure, Cube Miracle, fully auto. Now it's even easier. You just go in and you just fight the boss battle, which is only one stage. If you're not strong enough, then you might not be able to auto it, but after like 3 months, you should be able to fully auto Cube Miracle. Temporal Tower. Again, after 3 months, you can fully auto this fight. All of the floors are very easy. Just use a cleave team and you should just blitz through it like within 20 minutes. Okay, for Infinity Tower, I'll give it to you. Depending on your account, you might be able to fully auto it, but I think most players do not auto Infinity Tower. Calamity Island used to be something that you cannot, just fully auto and blitz it. Now that they've added the blitz system, blitz function, you can just fully blitz all of the floors. Just make a team that can blitz it and then just spam the blitz button until you win. That's how you do Calamity Tower at this point on. Chaos Realm, no comment. So between these two tabs right here, which has 10 PvE activities, only one of them is something you don't auto. The rest you blitz or you farm AFK, right? Now let's take a look at the event. So the Trials is nice. You fully auto the fight and you don't get rank 1, or you manual the fight to get better rankings, right? So it does reward hard work in some way. Rift, depending on your account, you can fully auto from floor 1 to floor 50, and then after a few days, you can pretty much just blitz it. But for some people that don't have a good enough account, then you might manual some of the fights, right? So these are the only PvE contents that you somewhat manual. Let's take a look at club content real quick. Sentinel Hunt, fully auto. You can't even manual it anymore. You just blitz it, right? Now let's go into PvP. Triple Threat. This one's a little bit nice because it does require a little bit of strategy with your guild members. Even with this being a blitz content, it's not that bad because it does require some strategy for you to win, right? Which towers to attack, which defense to deploy, stuff like that. Point War at this point is just a blitz fest as well. You just fight opponents that you know you can win. And also Beat Bout, the same thing. You fight opponents that you know you can win. And that's about it. You blitz everything. So you're telling me right now that the current knockout is too attentive when essentially everything in this game is AFK and blitz content. Come on now. Do you want this game to be like AFK Arena? Do you know how boring that game is? You play AFK Arena. I played that game for 1 month. I reached endgame and then there's nothing to do because your dailies take like 2 minutes. 2 minutes to do your dailies. Everything is blitz. Nothing is manual. And then you're stuck on a story stage for a week. And then after a week, after you've accumulated all of your resources, you push the story for like 2 stages. And then you're back to being stuck for another week. That's how boring that game is. That game has nothing to do. Everything is AFK in that game. But yeah, that's all I want to say to the group of people that think the current knockout is too attentive. Again, I do agree with you to a certain extent. But with how Dislyte is, if there wasn't too many of blitz and AFK content in the game, I wouldn't be mind with knockout being an AFK game mode. But the reality of it is that Dislyte is a blitz and AFK centric game. having one attentive game mode is not really that crazy. Now the next group of people dislike this current knockout because it's too pay to win. And to that I just say, you are just lazy. Yeah, that's right. I call you lazy. Fight me. No, I'm just kidding. But it is true though. You are lazy because those are the same type of people that have not used a single of their ticket and they only dispatch their espers and then they call the game mode pay to win. Now, it is pay to win to some extent, but this version is way more free to play friendly than the old knockout. The hit system is a double-edged sword. Like I said, it does give you more points, but it also pairs you up with a higher bracket, right? But if you know exactly what you're doing, then you can get a really good score. If you take a look at the leaderboard right now, the main whales are always going to be on top because they have really high resonance for this match section right here, which I'll cover in a different video. But if you go over some of these names, there are some names that you have never seen before because some of these players are very low dolphin or free-to-play players even. It's Will, which is my guild leader. He's right now the first time in top 64, ranked 30 as well, pretty crazy. Some names like Yoon, I think he has a very low resonance as well. He's using mostly free-to-play espers. Some of these are very old espers as well. Very low resonance espers. And the high resonance espers are either free at 1 point or very old esper like Sally. And if you go even further down, some of these names you have never seen before because free-to-play actually has a better chance to compete with this current knockout. You are in more control of your points, being the match system. This current knockout allows for more strategy to be used, whereas the old knockout is just you set your teams and then you hope and pray that you get high win rate. Some people are arguing that the old knockout is less pay to win, which I'll say that you're delusional because the only way that you can control your points is by controlling your teams that you set up. So if you couldn't compete with this current knockout, then the old knockout is even worse for you because you can only set your teams and then those teams will go randomly into battle, right? Resonance are more into play in the old knockout because you want to have the highest resonance for each of your espers so that you have the highest win rate among everyone else, right? And I've seen some players saying that the old knockout requires a little bit more strategy as well. It is just team building. If you are someone with the best knowledge at team building, you have like maybe a million IQ at team building, you have the best teams to make, you know what happens next? You build that team, you get very high win rate, someone just goes into the leaderboard ranking, check your team, and then just copies it. It doesn't matter how good your team building is, eventually someone will find out and copy that team, and then when some people use that team, they will be exposed to more players, and then more players will use that team. Then boom, what makes you so special? You're not special because this game is all about copying. The way that they've added this leaderboard system is that it allows you to see what players are running so that you can copy the best teams. The old knockout is just a copy pasta of what is the best team and then using it for your own. There is no strategy involved. You're delusional if you think that the old knockout has any form of strategy. You're goofy. Okay, I went a little bit too hard, but if I offend anyone, please be offended because you're goofy. And then I would like to address the last group of players that say that they dislike knockout because they don't know how the game mode works. Let me give you an example. I don't know someone, therefore I hate them. What the fuck? How does that make sense? If you don't know the game mode, fucking learn it.